What if one small change in the way you drink coffee could help your body handle blood sugar more calmly throughout the day? Not a miracle, not a special supplement, not an expensive treatment, just coffee. The same drink sitting in millions of kitchens right now. But here is the part most people never hear about. It is not only the coffee itself that matters, it is the timing, the routine, and what you combine it with. Over the years, I have spoken with many older adults who believed they were already doing everything correctly. They drank coffee every day. They tried to stay active. They reduced sweets. They followed basic advice. And yet many still struggled with low energy, afternoon fatigue, cravings, unstable glucose levels, or constant hunger shortly after meals. What surprised them most was discovering that one of the biggest issues was not necessarily the coffee itself. It was the way they were drinking it. Today, I want to walk you through something simple, practical, and surprisingly powerful. Because modern research continues to show that coffee contains natural compounds that may support the body in several interesting ways when consumed properly. But there is also an important warning. The wrong coffee routine can work against you instead of helping you. And unfortunately, that is exactly what many people do without realizing it. Before we go further, let's understand something very important. Imagine your body as a carefully balanced system constantly trying to manage energy. Every time you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks them down into glucose. That glucose enters the bloodstream and needs to be moved into the cells to be used as fuel. To help with this process, the body releases insulin. Now, when this system works smoothly, energy remains more stable and the body handles glucose more efficiently. But over time, especially with poor sleep, inactivity, stress, highly processed foods, and excess sugar, the body may begin struggling to keep up with constant spikes in blood sugar. And this is where many people begin noticing changes. Fatigue after meals, more cravings, low energy, increased thirst, weight gain around the stomach, energy crashes during the afternoon. These signs often appear gradually, very gradually, and many people simply assume it is normal aging. But daily habits play a major role. Now here is where coffee becomes interesting. Coffee naturally contains several bioactive compounds. One of the most discussed is chlorogenic acid. Research suggests this compound may help slow the absorption of glucose from meals and support healthier metabolic responses when coffee is consumed correctly. Think of it like slowing traffic before a major traffic jam forms. Instead of everything hitting the bloodstream at once, the process becomes smoother and easier for the body to manage. But here is the important part. These potential benefits depend heavily on timing and routine. And that brings us to one of the most common mistakes people make, drinking strong coffee immediately after waking up on an empty stomach. This is extremely common. Many people wake up and go straight to coffee before water, before breakfast, before anything else. At first it feels energizing, but here is what many people do not realize. Early in the morning, the body naturally produces higher levels of cortisol, a hormone involved in alertness and energy. This is normal. It helps wake you up and prepare for the day. But when large amounts of caffeine are added immediately into an empty system, some people may experience a stronger stress response than expected. This may affect energy balance, appetite, and blood sugar stability throughout the morning, especially after the age of 50 or 60. That is why many specialists now recommend a different approach. Instead of drinking coffee immediately after waking up, start with water first. Allow the body a little time to wake naturally. Then eat something light containing protein before coffee. Something simple: eggs, plain yogurt, cheese, nuts. A protein-rich breakfast. Then enjoy coffee afterward instead of using it as the first thing entering the body. This small adjustment alone may help many people feel more stable and energized during the morning. Now let's talk about another very common issue: what people add to coffee. This is where many healthy intentions quietly collapse, because unfortunately, coffee itself is often not the real problem. The extras are, large amounts of sugar, sweet syrups, flavored creamers, processed coffee drinks, sweet pastries on the side. Many people turn coffee into a dessert without realizing it, and this creates a completely different metabolic effect. A heavily sweetened coffee can spike glucose levels very quickly, especially when combined with refined carbohydrates like cookies, pastries, white bread, or sweet breakfast foods. This creates the exact cycle many people are trying to avoid: energy spikes, then crashes, more cravings, more hunger, more fatigue later, and over time, repeated patterns matter. Now, some people switch to artificial sweeteners believing they are the perfect solution. But this area has become more complicated in recent years. Emerging research suggests that some artificial sweeteners may affect appetite regulation and gut microbiota in ways researchers are still trying to fully understand. This does not mean panic. It simply means moderation and awareness matter. For many people, gradually reducing sweetness overall may be more helpful than constantly replacing one sweetener with another. The goal is retraining the palate slowly. And yes, that takes time. But something interesting happens when people reduce intense sweetness consistently. Natural flavors begin standing out more. Coffee tastes richer. Food tastes more balanced. Cravings often become less aggressive over time. Now, there is another mistake many people make with coffee: drinking it too late in the day. This is extremely important. Many adults over 50 underestimate how long caffeine can stay active in the body. Even afternoon coffee may still affect the nervous system hours later, and poor sleep affects far more than energy. Sleep plays a major role in blood sugar regulation, appetite control, recovery, mood, and hormonal balance. So when sleep quality suffers repeatedly, the body often struggles much more with glucose control the next day. This becomes a cycle: poor sleep, more fatigue, more caffeine, more stress on the system, then, even worse, sleep later. That is why many people feel significantly better after simply moving their final coffee earlier in the day. Now here's one of the most interesting strategies: coffee before meals. Research suggests that drinking a small plain coffee shortly before eating may help moderate post-meal glucose responses in some individuals. Again, not magic, not a cure, not perfection, just one small supportive habit. And remember, plain coffee matters, not dessert coffee, not sugar-loaded coffee drinks, simple coffee. Now let's talk about movement, because this changes everything. Coffee works best when combined with healthy routines, not when used to compensate for unhealthy ones. One of the most powerful combinations for metabolic health is simple movement after meals. Even a short walk after eating may help the body use glucose more efficiently. This does not require a gym. A calm walk, light movement, gentle activity. Consistency matters far more than intensity. And when movement becomes regular, many people notice improvements not only in energy, but also in appetite, sleep, mood, and mental clarity. Part 2. Now let me tell you something many people overlook completely. Muscle tissue plays a huge role in blood sugar balance. When muscles are active, they absorb glucose more efficiently. That means movement creates an entirely different environment inside the body. This is one reason why inactivity becomes such a major issue later in life. The less muscle activity the body has, the harder glucose management may become over time. This is why combining moderate activity with supportive nutrition and smart coffee habits may create a much more balanced daily routine. And speaking of nutrition, there is another important piece people often forget: protein. Many adults, especially older adults, do not eat enough protein during the day. Instead, breakfast often becomes mostly refined carbohydrates: toast, sweet cereals, pastries, cookies, or sugary coffee drinks. Then, energy crashes by late morning. Protein helps support satiety and steadier energy. Eggs, Greek yogurt, fish, chicken, beans, cheese, nuts. Balanced meals help the body stay more stable throughout the day, and when protein is combined with movement, hydration, proper sleep, and moderate coffee habits, the effects often work together, not through extremes, but through consistency. Now, I also want to address something very important. Coffee is not magic. No drink alone will solve metabolic problems created by years of poor sleep, inactivity, processed foods, stress, and lack of movement. This is where many people become frustrated. They search for one miracle answer, one food, one supplement, one drink. But health rarely works that way. The body responds to patterns, daily patterns, and sometimes the smallest patterns quietly become the most powerful ones over time. The hour you wake up, how much water you drink, how often you move, how much sleep you get, how much sugar enters your system every day. These things matter more than people realize. And this is actually good news because it means change is possible without turning life upside down. You do not need perfection. You do not need fear. You do not need punishment. You need consistency. Now, there's another point I want to make very clear. Everyone responds differently to caffeine. Some people tolerate coffee extremely well. Others become anxious, shaky, restless, or struggle with sleep after even small amounts. Listening to your body matters. If coffee consistently creates discomfort, nervousness, rapid heartbeat, or poor sleep, reducing the amount may be a smart decision. Some people also do very well with quality decaffeinated coffee because many beneficial compounds remain even without high caffeine levels. The goal is not forcing yourself to drink more coffee. The goal is understanding how your routine affects your body. That awareness alone can become incredibly powerful. I remember speaking with an older woman who told me she always believed her afternoon exhaustion was simply part of aging. Every morning she drank sweetened coffee on an empty stomach, then another sweet coffee with cookies in the afternoon. Then she slept poorly at night. She felt trapped in constant fatigue. But after making a few small adjustments, more water in the morning, protein before coffee, less sugar, short daily walks, and avoiding late caffeine, she noticed something surprising. Her energy became steadier, not overnight, not magically, but gradually. And that is exactly how real health improvements often happen, gradually, quietly, step by step. This is why I always encourage people to stop searching for extreme solutions and start paying closer attention to daily habits instead, because daily habits shape long-term outcomes. Now, before we finish, I want to quickly summarize the key points from today. First, avoid drinking strong coffee immediately after waking on an empty stomach. Start with water first. Allow your body to wake naturally. Eat some protein before coffee. Second, be careful with what you add to coffee. Too much sugar and heavily processed creamers can completely change the effect coffee has on the body. Third, avoid drinking coffee too late in the day if sleep quality is suffering. Better sleep supports better metabolic balance. Fourth, movement matters tremendously. Even simple daily walking can support healthier glucose handling and steadier energy. And finally, remember that coffee works best as part of a healthy lifestyle, not as a replacement for one. Small supportive habits work together. Hydration, movement, balanced meals, better sleep, less sugar, consistency. That combination is far more powerful than any miracle product advertised online. And if today's conversation helped you think differently about your daily routine, share this video with someone you care about, a friend, a parent, a partner, anyone trying to support their energy and long-term wellness. Because sometimes one simple habit change can become the beginning of many others. And if you enjoy calm, practical conversations about healthy aging and everyday wellness, subscribe to the channel and join this community. Before you go, tell me in the comments, how do you usually drink your coffee? Morning, afternoon, sweetened, black? I always enjoy hearing about different routines and experiences. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself, take care of your habits, And remember, your future health is shaped quietly by the small choices repeated every day. I'll see you again very soon in the next video.